Brazil, located in South America, is a large country that is currently developing. It is known for its lush wildlife in areas such as the Amazon rainforest, but also for its stark contrast between the wealthy and the poor, as seen by hillside slums and nearby beaches with five-star hotels.
Brazil is one of the most populous countries in the world, coming in at number 6 with a population of 200.4 million people in 2013. Their population continues to grow, and when it was last accounted for, in 2016, the population had reached 210 million people.
The crude birth rates in Brazil are currently declining, as seen in the graph. This is due to the fact that Brazil is a developing country, and therefore women are becoming more educated. When women are more educated, there are less births. The current crude birth rate is 14.7.
Crude death rates have been declining in Brazil and have been doing so very rapidly due to medical advances and the increases in the country's overall development. Although, as of recently, they have been slightly rising due to crime rates and drug infestations of the country.
The doubling time of Brazil, or the time it takes for its population to double, is about 81 years. This is due to the 0.86% population growth rate of Brazil. By 2095, Brazil's population will have doubled to 420 million people if the growth rate is constant.
Fertility rates have been declining in Brazil due to the overall improvement of the country, with things such as increased access to education and girls staying in school much longer. They are also going to work more rather than being mothers so early and staying home to take care of children while the fathers are away at work.
As with crude death rates, the infant and child mortality rates are also declining and are predicted to be around 5.8 by 2060. Again, this is due to the fact that Brazil is a developing country, so technology is improving, therefore increasing chances of the survival of the youth. For example, better medicines exist to fight illness and disease. The male life expectancy at birth is 70.2 years compared to the 77.5 years for females, making an average of 73.8 years. By 2060, the average life expectancy is expected to increase to 80.79 years. This is due to there being more technology and development in Brazil over time.
Disease is a major problem in Brazil. There are almost 827,000 people living with AIDS in Brazil, which is 0.58% of the population. As seen in the graphs, both HIV/AIDS and malaria's prevalence have declined and are projected to decline with increases in technology. The overall risk factor in the country, according to the CIA, is very high.
Historically, Europeans came to Brazil in the early 1900s, leading to industrialization and growth. Today, educated and qualified immigrant populations from Asia and Europe are increasing. In the future, immigration is expected to continue to increase and emigration to decrease as Brazil is becoming more developed.
Age structure diagrams for Brazil show that the younger generations, those aged 15 to 30, are the largest percentage of the population, showing that there are increased birth rates during this time and low death rates due to age. Population is smaller at the top and bottom, with fewer older people and less newborns.
Declining birth rates in Brazil are leading to a declining population growth rate, as seen by the pink curve leveling off. Due to a declining population growth rate, Brazil is expected to hit its population peak of 238 million people around the year 2050. Brazil is currently in stage 3 of the demographic transition. This is because its birth rate, 14.7, is higher than its death rate, 6.1, and because both rates are declining in general. Additionally, total population is still increasing.
Family planning in Brazil has helped decrease the rate at which the country's population has been growing because there are less births. 80.3% of the country has access to some sort of contraceptive, which has only happened since the 1980s when the population was growing far more rapidly. The rapid economic growth in the country has led to a rapidly growing middle class with decreasing unemployment rates, currently sitting at 15% nationally. With a decrease in unemployment, you have a decrease in poverty and an increase in population growth and a longer life expectancy.
The environmental impact of a country is determined by population, affluence, and technology. This idea together is known as IPAT. Because Brazil is a highly populated country, coupled with the fact that they pollute and consume much of the environment, their environmental impact is very high.
Unfortunately, the quick change in the country that has led to positive developments has had its consequences, appearing mostly in the slums where the middle class live in gang and drug territories where they've become the second largest consumer of cocaine in the world. Additionally, the sudden change in affluence has contributed to rising emissions of CO2 in Brazil, although it has also increased productivity. The localized environmental impacts are in the slums. There is terrible sanitary conditions, and out in the country, open areas are being destroyed for the rich. Globally, the destruction of the Amazon rainforest will eventually have unknown environmental effects, whereas other regions are being cleared for urban development. Brazil's national GDP is about $1.77 trillion in 2015, and per capita it was highest in 2014 at $16,000 a head, but has decreased since then, dropping rapidly to $15,900 in 2015 and dropped yet again in 2016, down another $700 a person.
When it comes to the question of whether development is sustainable in Brazil, the answer is currently no. There is a paradox in Brazil where the public and private corporations generally would like to live green, but the government and consumer actions suggest otherwise. Additionally, there is a large poverty gap, and Brazilians consume faster than the environment can replace resources, making for an eventual lack of resources.